I walked the halls this morning with Ms. Compton and some other guests, and I'm reminded every time that I walk in the halls of TeSA how special a place it is. From the floors where you can walk in and you don't have to follow just a straight line. They've got zigzags or a hopscotch on the floors for you to go to the dance room that is outfitted with professional dance as a professional dance studio, to the black box theater that seats over 100 folks. They're doing professional recordings of their performances right now, to the choir room that has riser upon riser and instrument upon instrument for the kiddos to lift up their voices, and then to the stellar academics. From kindergarten, they were reading Pete the Cat book during lunch today, which is a big deal in my household, Pete the Cat, to fifth grade science today that has periodic table out on their desk. I'm not sure what they were doing with that, but I felt above my pay grade to know exactly what was happening there. But the Texas School of the Arts is an incredible place to foster not only your academic skills, but also to foster your love of the arts. That's why every kiddo takes dance and theater and choir and art. Every single kiddo is able to experience that and to foster their love of art. And we know that when you take academics and you merge them with art, there's study after study after study after study that says that builds those synapses on both sides of the brain, and they can fire at a faster rate. And so no matter what career your kiddo ends up being a part of, whether that be a professional dancer or that be a lawyer or maybe even, a nonprofit executive, then whatever that might be, you have chosen a place that's going to prepare your student to be in a great place. It's my honor to introduce Ms. Compton, Ms. Betsy Compton. She is the principal and the real leader at TeSA. The same conversation that was happening earlier today as I was giving a tour to somebody that's helping us out with the school. Unsolicited, a teacher comes up to us and says, "We want you to know that Ms. Compton is the best principal ever." And then she just turned around and walked away. Like there was no room for debate. There was no room for, well, what about? It was just a matter of fact. And I couldn't agree more that the perfect principal for the Texas School of the Arts is Betsy Compton. And so it's my honor to introduce Ms. Compton, who will lead us through the rest of the night. Ms. Compton, all you.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I know you guys are already sold on TeSA because you're here tonight, but I am so excited to get to tell you a little bit more. And it's fun as I scroll through and see your pictures. I recognize some of you from coming out to our play date a few weeks ago, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you and your families over the next couple of months as we gear up to get started in August. So tonight is just about giving you as much information as we can so that you feel prepared and ready for what's going to take place on the first day of school and beyond. I'm sure you have a billion questions, and so hopefully we will answer the majority of those as we go through our slides tonight. But if you see something that gives you pause, if you need a little more information, please feel free to use the chat box feature. If you will type in your questions there in the chat, we will take time at the end to go through and answer those aloud as much as possible. And we can also have some additional time for spur of the moment questions at the very end of the presentation. So go ahead and use that feature as we move through so that you won't forget that question once we get to the very end. And then, of course, as more information is released over the summer months, from the Texas Education Agency or from Texas School of the Arts or Texas Center for Arts and Academics, we will be sure and pass that along to you as well. So you are here live and we're happy to have you here, but we are also recording this. So hello to everyone watching this later on a recording. And just a quick reminder that it will live on our website so that you can go back and reference this as many times as you need to and share it with your friends who may still be wanting to audition and join us. So let's get started talking about some of the exciting things to come, including introducing some important people that you will come to know. So here on the screen, you see our fabulous counselor, Ms. Kiera Wallace. She previously served as a teacher here at TeSA. She taught both 2nd grade and 6th grade, was an amazing teacher, and is now an amazing counselor. She does a great job connecting with our students. She's in classrooms all the time. It's really unusual to have a counselor who truly gets to counsel. And that's what she does. She provides guidance lessons for students in the classroom setting. She pulls small groups into her office and has one-on-ones and does an amazing job connecting with all of our families. So she's the go-to person for all of our resources on campus, and of course, for any time that you need a little extra assistance. And also on the screen is Mrs. Julie Murray. Julie was also a teacher here at TeSA before stepping into her role as instructional specialist. And so basically what that means is she's here to help the teachers to make sure that they are in turn helping each and every one of our students. So she is the front lines of our curriculum, working with textbook companies, working with the Texas Education Agency, making sure that we have the top of the line of every material and supplemental thing that we need in order to help kids succeed in the classroom. So you'll see emails coming out throughout the school year from both of these ladies, and hopefully get to know them as you come into the school building as well. And these are some names you may already be familiar with. Many of you have already been emailing or on the phone with Miss Tammy Smith because she serves as our front desk receptionist, our PEAMS clerk, which is just a fancy way of saying all of our reporting goes through Miss Tammy Smith. And then she's our registrar, which is part of the PEAMS process. So most of you have already at least seen her name, if not heard her voice, and we just love everything that she brings to our school. And she is one of those people that just pretty much knows anything and everything, as she was a volunteer and a substitute here at TeSA before moving into her role. So she's been an integral part of the organization for quite some time, just like Mrs. Belinda Johnson. And so what's awesome about Mrs. Belinda is that she's been here since day one. So she has been a part of the organization for 14 years. She started as a long-term substitute, has volunteered every minute of after school times during performances and special events. And now she gets to be with us next year as a part-time teaching assistant, primarily helping in our kinder and 1st grade classrooms. And when she's not in the classroom, she serves as our budget clerk, making sure we stay on task, getting everything taken care of. So more awesome people that will be helping all of our kids be part of our TeSA family. So you have hopefully, as I mentioned, already been getting some emails from Miss Tammy, but you will also start to get other communication as we get closer and closer to the school year starting. And then weekly communication once we're really rocking and rolling in the school year. So we have what we call the Monday message that I send out, and that goes out as it sounds on Mondays to everyone in the TeSA family. And we also have, as you see there, grade level newsletters, and those are also sent out usually over the weekend so that you get a little sneak peek at the information before Monday morning actually begins. And then Texas Center for Arts and Academics also releases a monthly newsletter, and that will have a lot of information that's not included in our TeSA conversations, because it will include things that are also happening within the TCAA organization and within our sister school, FWAFA, or Fort Worth Academy of Fine Arts. We also have an amazing PTO, or parent teacher organization, and they will be sending out communication through me or through Ms. Tammy. And so anything that's happening outside the school but is TeSA related, our PTO will be on the front lines to make sure that you have all of that information so that you are ready to attend and help. So just a little note there, be sure you notice that you'll want to add that email to your contacts. Because we send things out in big mass groups, we will use the blind copy feature, so you won't see a whole big long list of names, and your email will be protected and your privacy protected, but it is going to go to a large audience. So you'll want to make sure depending on what email platform you use, that you add that at Arts Academics and then at my TeSA, so that those emails go straight to your inbox and you don't miss anything coming from our family. And if you're worried you've missed something already, just check that clutter folder or the other folder, however it's named in your inbox. And then of course, reach out to me or to Miss Tammy if you think that you need something sent again. So here's some fun things coming up. Hopefully you have already planned on your calendar to come May 20th for our next family play date. We had a lot of time, fun times, when we had this last month. I think we were all a little chilly, especially by the end of our 3rd through 5th grade activities. But it was really fun getting to see the kids run and play and make new friends. And so we hope that you'll come back again on the 20th. We'll have a few different games and different activities so that the students can interact with each other. And then again on June 17th. So please put those dates in your calendar and plan to come so that your kiddos will at least know a couple of friendly faces before school starts. And of course, we encourage you to network and exchange phone numbers and emails so that you can set up play dates on your own between then and August. And then when we get to August, we will kick things off for the new school year with a back to school night. So that will be your night to meet the teachers, find out what teacher will be your student's homeroom teacher, get to meet our fine arts team, and get to hopefully be in the school building and tour the school and get to have a lot of fun interacting with all of our staff here at TeSA. And then on that very first day of school, this is a PTO event, but held right here on our campus, the Boo-Hoo Brew. So for those of you with incoming kindergarten students, this is a bittersweet little breakfast. We know that some of our families are ready to get those kindergartners into class, and some of them are struggling with those big girls and boys taking that next step. And so this is just a fun activity for all of the moms and dads, grandmas, grandpas to come and just have that moment here on our campus and get to meet each other that are going through that same thing. But before then, if you want to jump right in and get a little sneak peek of what we've been doing now, you heard Mr. Gravely mention that we have been recording. So due to our COVID regulations this year, we unfortunately were not able to hold live performances with a live audience. But on the flip side, that means all of our TeSA students are now movie stars. And believe me, they are loving it. So we have wrapped production on Welcome to the Jungle and Dare to Dream. Dare to Dream is actually live on our website right now. So you can go to our website and view that at any time. It is about a 25-30 minute show that features our artwork and our at-home students. Welcome to the Jungle will be released next week. So we've wrapped the filming and now it's in the editing process. And that features our kinder and first grade students. And it is as sweet as can be. And it's really, really professional for kinder and first grade kids. So I think you'll be impressed with that. And then hopefully wrapping up outside my office as I speak is Dear Edwina Jr. We still have some teachers and a handful of students finishing up the last bit of filming some scene work tonight. And then that will also be going into the editing mode so that it can be on our website on May 21st. So we hope that you will check those out so that you can see a little sneak peek of what's to come for your kiddos next school year. And whether in person or online, we will definitely be performing. And so that'll be something to get your whole family excited. And back to that first day of school, this is our calendar. And I know this is a little small for a slide presentation. It's hard to see. So that is a hyperlink. You'll notice a couple of hyperlinks that we've already passed in the slide presentation that are coming up as well. We will send this presentation out and have it available on our website so that later, if you would like to open it back up and just click on those to get directly where you need, it'll make that a little bit easier for you. But all of this is on the website. And so you can always go to our TeSA website and then go to the resources to find all of this information that we're presenting as well. So be sure you take a look at that calendar for next school year. This has already been approved by our school board and approved by the Texas Education Agency. So we are ready to rock and roll and get started with our first day of school on August 16th. So this map that you see here on your screen shows how we do the drop off and the pickup. I know some of you got to have a tour of the school, and so you got to see what that looked like in real life. If you haven't had that opportunity, you can come sometime, hopefully soon, and get to see the campus. But this will just show you how you will navigate around our parking areas so that you can get your kiddo to school safely in the morning and home in the afternoon. We do have a slight change to our school hours. So if you've been talking to a current TeSA family, I don't want you to get confused because this is new for 21-22 school year. We will dismiss our K1 students at 3:30 and 2nd through 5th grade will be dismissing at 3:45. So that is a change for our current 2nd graders. This allows two things. Number one, it helps those older students have that little bit of extra time at the end of the day to write in their planners, make sure they're prepped and ready for the next day of school and have everything organized for going home in case they have homework or rehearsals or other things they need to take care of. But number two, it helps us with the flow of traffic so that we don't get backed up onto Village Parkway, which of course would be a safety concern. So please be sure that you follow those arrows when you come, and we will have lots of teachers out to help direct traffic and make sure your kiddos get exactly where they need to go. And you'll note there on the screen as well, one other new thing coming in the fall is breakfast. So we are not currently serving breakfast, but we are excited to add that in. We do serve a full cafeteria line for lunch, and it's really good food. A lot of the teachers, and myself included, we eat here on campus. Everything is cooked right here in-house. It's always got a fresh veggie, fresh fruit, some sort of meat, and some sort of bread, rice, or pasta. So a great full meal if that fits the needs of your families. So one thing you'll notice if you drive by is that we are having some construction just south of our building. So we are in the city of Edgecliff Village, which is surrounded on all four sides by the city of Fort Worth. But it's important to notice that we are our own city here. And so we do have our own Edgecliff Village Fire Department. They are really great to work with. They come out frequently, they walk our building, they make sure we're safe. And we do have fire drills once a month to make sure that we are keeping everyone as safe as possible and know what to do in the case of an emergency. And we also then utilize the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department, and they are also out here frequently. So make sure you're following the road signs because there will frequently be a sheriff parked in our parking lot watching for people going a little too fast or turning in the wrong place. So word to the wise to make sure that you are doing all of that appropriately. And note that we are going to be working to add a school zone. So we are excited that as the city's growing, we can be part of that growth. And hopefully some of those families will be coming to join us here at TeSA. And we've got a great working relationship with the city. So we're looking forward to how that's going to grow together. And this summer, you and your child are going to get to spend a little quality time together getting prepped for next year. So this has been a part of TeSA from the very beginning, that we believe it's important that children keep reading over the summer. So we will have summer reading assignments posted on our website by May 27th. That's our last day of school for our current students, and we don't want them to start yet. So we will be posting that on that last day of school, and then students will have the entire summer, and they are grade level specific. So obviously it will not be the same requirements for a second grader as it would be a fifth grader. But you can go back and check our website and see all of that information. And don't worry, it's not overwhelming, but it's just enough to keep our kids engaged, keep them reading. And then when they come back to school, there will be some fun assignments and presentations that let them get to know their fellow classmates and have a starting place that they've all done something the same coming into a new school for a new school year. And then also, of course, they're going to need supplies. I think that's something no matter where you go, you're going to need to buy a whole lot of school supplies to get the year going. But our PTO does a wonderful thing for us. This is not a fundraiser because all of the money goes directly to classroom supplies. But instead of trying to take a list and find all of these exact brand name items all over the store, you can pay an $85 fee to our PTO and they will do all the shopping for you. And that's really, really great because they go buy it in bulk. And then that means every kid in the class has the exact same materials. They work with our teaching staff. So if they decide, second grade only wants green folders this year, they will go find those green folders and make sure that teaching team has what they need. So no information is out yet. You can't pay yet, but just be waiting and watching for that. And then I promise it will be worth your time. So you are already familiar with Parent Portal because this is how you registered for school. So be sure you don't lose that login and password information because that's where you will come back to once school has gotten started to be able to check your child's grades. Now, at this time, the way the system is set up, it does not allow that feature for our kinder and first grade students, but we are actually working with the company to see if there's a way we can add that in. But for second through fifth grade, you can set up alerts and they are customizable. So if you want to know every time your child has a missing assignment that they were supposed to turn in and didn't, or if you want to know every time your child gets below an 89 or a 79, anything that you want to know about your child's grades, you can either just log in at your leisure and look, or you can set up certain alerts that then will send you emails to let you know about what's happening. So be sure you save that information so that you're ready to go with that in August. So I wanted to make sure you at least saw some pictures of our uniforms because that's one of the other big things that I know you will be doing this summer. And so you can see pictures there. We actually have a variety of choices because everything can kind of mix and match. So in the picture there, those are first graders with the lineup of the 6. And so you can see the different options with the khaki pants versus the shorts. It's both a red and a navy polo. And nobody's wearing it because the weather's getting warm, but there is also a polo option as well. And then, of course, the young ladies can wear the jumper or a skirt. And there's also a khaki skirt that you don't see represented in that photo as well. In the middle, you see one of our dancers. And so our dance students may choose to either wear a black leotard or they can wear a shirt. And so you'll see in that picture in the back, the boys not peeking at the camera is wearing the PE shirt. And then the young lady is wearing the leotard. And then in the far picture, those are options for PE. And so there is a short, pants, or leggings. And so depending on the season, the time of the year, your child's probably going to want to mix and match those. And new this year is that that's only going to be for first grade and up. So that is a change. We are no longer going to require our kindergartners to change for dance and PE. So that is a new decision. But as I'm sure you know, kindergartners are still learning to button and zip and put belts on, and that's quite time consuming. And we want to make sure that we protect every minute we can for instruction, both in the academic classroom and in the dance room. And so we will be waiving the PE and dance requirement for kindergartners, but keeping that for first grade and up. And that's a hyperlink down at the bottom. So that will take you to a document that has everything I just said aloud all written out. We don't expect any major changes, but do keep in mind that all of our policies, of course, are subject to our board. And so if there are any board decisions that change any of this, we would be sure to communicate that with you as soon as possible. So here's where you go to order. We partner with Flynn O'Hara, and they do have an actual store here in Fort Worth if you want to go into the store so that you can try things on. But you can also order online, or you can also order gently used clothing through our TeSA PTO. And that's a hyperlink there to their Facebook page. Kids grow pretty fast. And so sometimes we have families that buy a whole wardrobe of things that then no longer fit by October. And so you can get some items that are still almost brand new by shopping through our resale page. So lots of options to make sure your kiddos are covered. Now, these prices are estimated that you see here on the screen because this is something that we partner with an outside organization. But every year we sell spirit wear, and this is all sold through our parent-teacher organization. The picture there with the state of Texas and the cowboy hat, that's our current 2021 shirt. It will be a new design for next school year. So the PTO will design several different options, and then all of our teachers and students get to vote. And then the winner is the shirt for the following school year. So I don't have that ready to show you, but that will be coming. And then you can see the jacket there is just an example, but lots of fun things can be added to our regular uniform so that if your child is cold-natured and you need to have an extra jacket, you can get one that matches and has our logo. Or for just being out and about in town, we'll have lots of those choices coming your way early in August. So just be watching for emails about that so that you'll know they are available to purchase, along with the PE and dance wear. And I know we've already had a couple of questions about this, so hopefully this is the information you needed about after school. We know we have a lot of working families, just like myself, and you need a safe place that you know your child is taken care of after school. So we partner with Clayton Youth, and they come right here to our TeSA campus. So super convenient to come back here just a little later than our normal pickup. This year they are here all the way until 6:30. And so this is a good option for anyone who might need after school care. But if you're already in a daycare program, we do have, I think, 3 area daycares that are currently busing students over here. So that's something that you can check into as well. But an even better option might be to sign your child up for classes through our conservatory. And this is exciting because it's housed right here in our TCAA family. And we have Ms. Shana Ferraro here with us tonight. She is the director of our conservatory programs. And so I'm going to ask her to speak to you just a little bit and tell you about what we have to offer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I see some familiar families that are logged on, some of you that have been conservatory families for a couple of years already, and now you're going to be a TeSA family, and that's always so exciting for me to see. So we are the home of Texas Dance Conservatory, Texas Art Conservatory, and the Texas Music Conservatory. And these are after school and weekend programs open to ages 3 through 19. We do utilize both TCAA campuses. So we have some of our classes on the campus of TeSA, and then we have our other classes on the campus of Fort Worth Academy of Fine Arts. The nice thing is that it's a very short drive between the 2 schools. I do that drive often. And so it's never an issue to, pick your kiddo up, at dismissal from TeSA and get them over to FWAFA for a class, if that happens, or vice versa, kids from FWAFA going over to TeSA. We definitely have classes for our kinder and first grade kiddos at TeSA, for the dance conservatory, and then all ages for the music conservatory. Right now, we are gearing up to post our next season's schedule. So by the end of May, you should be able to look online at the class schedule for all three of these conservatories when we start back up in August. But if you're looking for classes right now, we do have our enrollment for our summer camps going. And again, I recognize some names. I know some of you are already registered for our summer camps. We have 4 different camps going this summer. My favorite is our creative arts camp, where the kids get to basically do everything just like they will at TeSA. So they get to come all day, all week, and do dance, theater, visual arts, and choir. This camp is for ages 3 through 12, and we offer it twice. There's a week in June and a week in July. And so we hope that that's something that you might enroll your kiddo for. We also have our art studio, music intensive, and dance intensive for our 8 to 18-year-olds. All the information is on the website, and I believe that's a hyperlink there that Ms. Compton has for you. So I invite you to go to the website, look at all the details. We offer discounts if you sign up for more than 1 week, or if you sign up siblings. And then feel free to reach out if you have any questions, but we hope that your kiddo will come and start their art adventures with us this summer.
Thank you. I appreciate you jumping on to talk about all of that. And I can speak from mom experience. I have 3 of my own kids, and my youngest has done the creative arts camps and absolutely loved it. I brought her to work with me, and so she did the extra hour before and after, and it made my work week easy, but it made her eyes light up every day. She was so excited to come. She had a blast. So I highly recommend that creative arts camp that Ms. Ferraro just spoke about. And so we are still auditioning, which is exciting for TeSA. And if you know of a family that didn't quite get their things done in time during our regular audition period, or we're kind of on the fence, or maybe they've had a life change since then and now they're ready, we want you to invite them to come. And so we are still auditioning in every single grade level. Some grade levels have more spots than others. So the way that will work is we will just keep auditioning until a grade level is full. And then at that point, we can build a wait list of students who meet our audition requirements. And we know life happens. We have a couple of military families that are waiting to find out if they're going to get to stay with us or if they're going to be deployed elsewhere. And other things happen every single year that we just can't always plan for. So you never know when a spot may come available, and we want you and your families and your friends to be on that list ready to swoop in when those kinds of things happen. So now that you've gone through it and you survived and you know what to tell your friends, please let them know that all of the requirements will stay the same for the 21-22 school year. So even if our COVID regulations start to significantly change, we will still do virtual auditions because that's what's best and fair for all of our students. We want to keep that consistency throughout this school year. So you will still see all of that on our website, the same audition requirements, rubric, score sheets, all of that will stay the same throughout this school year. And hopefully you recognize that email there. Paula has been the one that's helped coordinate all of these for you, and she will still be there to help coordinate these with our incoming families that want to audition too. So you met some of these people, hopefully those of you that came to our play dates. We have an amazing group of parents who have volunteered to be ambassadors. And so these lovely ladies have all jumped in to help in various ways around the school this year. They are all approved volunteers. So sometimes I see them making copies, sometimes they're laminating things. We just had a field day, and so we had moms and dads out there holding water hoses and lifting up cones and all kinds of fun stuff for the kids. And these are all parents who have at least been here at TeSA for 1 year. But as I look at the list, I'm pretty sure most of these have multiple siblings and have been here for 3 or 4 years. So they will be the ones that you can go to with maybe that silly question that you don't want to ask me, or to kind of get the scoop on what things are like from the parent perspective. So please feel free to just email them directly, anything that you would like to know. And then at the bottom there, you see our PTO president's email. Her name is Miss Stephanie Ballou, and she's our current president. And if you would like to get involved now so that you can do things over the summer, then you can reach out to her and she will make sure that you get connected to everything you need to know. So please feel free to reach out to any of these people, or of course to me, and we'll make sure that you get connected. So that brings us to the end of our official presentation. I'm going to leave this slide up for just a couple of minutes so that you have a chance to jot down any of these emails that you might think you need. And of course, remember that this is being recorded and we're going to share it so you can come back to that later as well. All of our emails here on campus end in mytesa.org. So be sure you get that .org in there. Any of our TeSA family, who's actually part of the broader organization, Texas Center for Arts and Academics, like Ms. Ferraro, who just spoke with you, or Paula, who's already worked with you, they will have the artsacademics.org at the end of their email. So please feel free to reach out to any of us with questions as they come up. But I will go ahead and stop sharing my presentation now so that I can get a better look at all of you and find out what questions you have, so that we can make sure that you have all of the information that you need before you go tonight. All right, there's no questions in the chat. So if you have a question, you can either unmute or you can put it in the chat and I'll try and read those as I see them. So, oh, perfect. Someone already jumped in. Thank you. Can girls wear pants and shorts? Yes, absolutely. They are not required to wear the jumper or the skirt, but it's an option if they choose. So we have a good mix, I'd say. In the older grades, I think a lot of the girls prefer the pants. In the younger grades, we see a lot of the jumpers because they tend to be a little easier to get on and off for changing clothes. And I have a couple of questions about the links not showing or hyperlinks showing. So don't worry, we'll make sure that you get those. Everything is on the website. And then when you get this actual presentation, that'll be easier to just click on that. So in terms of uniforms, I see a question here about shoes and hair accessories. So we don't have a specific shoe that your student has to wear. I know a lot of privates and charters do require a specific shoe. We're a little more open about that. And you see a mix when you walk around the hall. Our students are asked to wear an athletic shoe when they go to PE. So most of our kids just wear athletic shoes all day long so that they're not worried about carrying extra shoes in their backpack. But you also see a good portion of young ladies that like to wear little patent leather shoes that look cute with the skirts and dresses, and then they change. So that is completely a family decision of if you feel like your child can handle having 2 pairs of shoes, or 3 when it's a dance day and they have to have the ballet shoes, or if you'd rather keep it simplistic and just send them in tennis shoes every single day. The big thing with that is just that with the littles that are still struggling with tying their shoes, we do recommend Velcro because we want them to be active and moving, and we don't want there to be accidents. So we tie a lot of shoes around here, but if that's a skill that your kiddo is still working on, you'll want to practice over the summer and make sure they're ready for that. And hair accessories are also an option for families. You are not required to have matching bows. A lot of our students this year had matching masks, which was super cute, but all of that is just a family decision. All right, I have a question about the open spots for this school year or next. I meant for this school year, 21-22. So not these last, I think we're down to 13 days of school left, not those, but for 21-22, we do have spots in our grade levels. All right, changing clothes. So we do not have locker rooms here on our campus. So we use classrooms. So all of our classrooms have the kinds of doors that you've probably seen in other schools where they have a little window, and everyone has a little curtain or a piece of paper that they can close that window off. And they usually put a little sign out that says we're changing. And so, for example, if it's first grade's turn to go to dance, they need to change. One first grade classroom will be all the boys, another first grade classroom will be all the girls. There will be teachers that stand at the door and then they pull that down for privacy, get the kids changed and back into their class to go on. And then the same process happens in reverse when they need to change back out of their uniforms. We do have bathrooms, of course. We try to encourage our students to just use the bathrooms for going to the bathroom so that we're not changing in there and taking away a stall from someone who has an urgent need. We do have, especially in the littles, we do have some kindergartners that in the first couple of months of school struggle with that, and they need to get to the bathroom right when they say they need to get to the bathroom. And I'm sure moms and dads, you've seen that yourselves. So we do want them to be comfortable changing in the classroom, and that's why we encourage camisoles, modesty shorts, anything that makes you as a family and your child feel more comfortable for being able to change in front of their classmates. All right, Ms. Ferraro, this one's for you. Do summer camps fill up quickly, and should we sign up as early as possible?
I would definitely recommend signing up as early as possible. Our June camps, the enrollment numbers are looking really great. We do still have spots open. So, you know, and it's not like we're at a risk of them closing, but we could get there. So I would say definitely the earlier, the better. And if we do get close, you know, to almost having to close it, we will send emails out to our current families for sure. But definitely the earlier, the better.
All right, the next question's about masks. Unfortunately, this is one I can't answer because we don't have that information yet. This is the $1 million question. If you could answer this, I think everyone in the state would love you. But we are waiting on Texas Education Agency to make declarations about the 21-22 school year. So at this time, for the rest of this school year, they did make a proclamation back in March. I think it was March 9th that left things up to the directive of the school board. We are still waiting to see if that will carry over because that declaration was specific to the 2021 school year. So we need to let TEA make their decisions. And then once they do that, we can then make our announcements and decisions as an organization. So I'm sorry, unfortunately, that's a bit of a non-answer. But as soon as we get that clearance and that guidance, we will be publicizing that information for everyone. All right, I see a question about jewelry restrictions for the girls. I believe the way it's phrased in our handbook is jewelry must be non-distracting, which I know is a little vague. Things that I've noticed, slap bracelets have come back. Anyone around my age may remember slap bracelets from the 1980s. They are now popular again. And unfortunately, that can be a bit distracting, as you may imagine in the classroom, as kids are slapping those bracelets on their arms and trying to slap them on friends' arms. So things like that would be discouraged. We also do not want students to have smartwatches that might be beeping and having alarms and noises, or have a game that they could get drawn into. But other than that, jewelry is not restricted. So if your child has pierced ears or has a necklace that's important they always wear, all of those kinds of things are fine as long as it's safe. We just don't want them to go into dance and be bumped in the face or something like that. All right, let's see. Next question. Our khaki dresses. We do have a khaki skirt, and then the jumper is plaid. So you can see those on our website and on the Flynn O'Hara website. When you go there, you'll see all the different choices that you can kind of mix and match. And then question about after-school conservatory programs. It depends on the time of your class if your child would need to be picked up or not. So our first classes start at 4:15, which gives time for anyone that might be at another campus to get here. And we do have supervision for those children for that. So if your child dismisses at 3:30 or 3:45 and their class starts at 4:15, they're covered. We've got a teacher that's in charge of staying with those kiddos until their class starts. If your class is the 5:30 or later, you would want to pick them up and then bring them back. All right, let's see. Next question. Do students have different teachers for English, math, social studies, and science? Yes, they do. So we have what we call a team teach approach, and that goes all the way down to kinder. And so our teachers do specialize. Most of them teach 2 subjects. So in most cases, we have an English social studies teacher and then a math science teacher. And in the younger grades, even if all the instruction is delivered by one, it's being planned by separate teachers in collaboration. And so as they build that trust and they get to know the other grade level team members, we can start to branch out and have the teachers switch rooms and keep the kids in place in the younger grades. But in the older grades, the kids actually move classrooms themselves. So starting in 2nd grade, they will have, well, this is where I sit when I go to math and science, and then I move over to this room, and this is where I sit for English and social studies. And they seem to really like that. That is a little bit of independence, and they get to know more teachers and more students that way. And it works out really well because our teachers get to focus on 1 or 2 subjects that they're really passionate about and can dive deeper into the subject area. All right, next question is, will you offer virtual and in-person or in-person only? That's another one we can't answer yet because we got to wait on what TEA tells us. So the way that our charter is written, we are not technically allowed to offer virtual instruction. So that went out the window in 2020 when the governor declared that the commissioner would be in charge of overseeing at-home instruction. And so every school district in the state, regardless of charter or ISD, was then charged with creating a virtual option. So as long as those parameters are in place, if TEA says we must offer virtual, we will offer virtual. If TEA says no one has to offer virtual again, by law, we would not be able to because our charter does not allow for that. So we have to just wait and see what is said. All right, next question is, if a student has an IEP from a current school, who should we talk to? You would want to start with Miss Kiera Wallace. That is our counselor, and I believe her email is on this slideshow. It's just kiera.wallace@mytesa, and that way she can get that into our system and get it connected. We will automatically request your child's records, and so if you are coming from another public school system, it's called a TREX, and it goes through a TEA approved private system that transfers files from one district to another. So we will eventually get that, but it would be wonderful to have that information up front so that we can make sure that anything that's currently in your IEP or your 504 plan, or if your child's on RTI, which is response to intervention, or ESL, English as a second language, or GT, gifted and talented. Those are our 5 special populations. If you have any of that you want to send us ahead of time, that helps because then we can make sure over the summer that we have whatever supplemental materials, tools, and supports that we need day one, and we don't have to wait on getting that for you. All right, next question, how are food allergies addressed with meals and classroom activities? So you will have some forms that you will fill out that will ask about allergies. And so, for example, if you're in a classroom where a student has a nut allergy, then anyone in that classroom would not be allowed to bring a snack with nuts in it because that would not be safe in that environment. Our students do eat snacks in the classroom. And then hopefully next year we'll have lunches in the cafeteria. We've had to make some changes on that to be safe with our codes for COVID. And so just make sure that it's marked on every form that you fill out that asks whatever those allergies are. And then that way we can address it. And we'll make plans that are specific to that grade level. So if no one in that grade level has a nut allergy, we won't restrict nuts for that grade level. But it might be the next year you have someone that moves in. So we will make it as specific as possible. All right, next question is the cost of cafeteria lunch. That is a good one that I should have looked up to have on hand. I want to say it's like $3.30. It's an odd number. It's not like exactly $3, but it's somewhere right around $3. So it's either a little below or a little after, but we'll look at that and get that to you. All right, next question is how do teachers communicate with parents? Email, Class Dojo, WhatsApp, something else. Those are all good examples. So all of our teachers are required to do a weekly message, and that is a mix. Some of our teachers have a website that they go in and update every week, and then they send an email that says, here's the link to the website, go check out the new information. Others do it as a newsletter format and send them a newsletter. So each grade level gets to make that determination as long as they're doing something. So you'll get a weekly something that comes directly to you. And then email is our primary communicator. So if it's a private issue just to you, the email will be coming your way. If it's something immediate, it would be a phone call. And that might come from the teacher, it might come from me, or it might come from Miss Tammy at the front desk. But email is going to be your number one way to communicate. And it looks like the last question on here, unless someone's got one to throw in right now, is do kindergartners take naps? So the short answer is no. The long answer is sometimes they fall asleep in those first few months of school, especially. So we do have, during snack time, we tend to make it a little more quiet, a little calming, and there are always a couple of kiddos that do fall asleep. I also, it's so sweet, but we also chuckle a little bit because sometimes during driveline at the end of the day, as they're just sitting there, they've got their backpacks on, they're waiting to be called to come out to the car. You'll see a few of these as kids start to fall asleep waiting on the cars to come, because it's a long day for those kinder babies that are getting into school for the first time. So your teachers will probably let you know if your kiddo is falling asleep more than once or twice so that you know. But we don't punish, and we certainly don't call anyone out for it. If they fall asleep, we just give them a couple of minutes and then gently wake them back up. Okay. The next question is about sixth grade. We will not have sixth grade here at TeSA next school year. So if you, Miss Luna, if you would like to privately talk with me about that, I'd be happy to catch you back up. But that was a decision our school board made in March. So there will not be sixth grade or TeSA. And let's see, we got one more question that came in about students getting their own food for breakfast and lunch. And yes, there are a couple of choices, but not a whole lot. So usually when they come through the line, it is one entree. So they're not getting to choose what that entree is. Every once in a while, it might be two different fruits. So they might could choose from pineapple or peaches. But usually it's just one choice of the entree, one choice of the fruit and veggie. The big choice is always chocolate or white milk. And there are many debates, as you might imagine, of what's the right choice for that, depending who you ask. And okay, one more that came in. Is there a middle school that many TeSA students go to? I'd say it's a mix. A lot do audition for FWAFA, and we do have a highly successful rate of students who audition and get into FWAFA. We are two separate school districts, so it's never guaranteed. But we do follow the same curriculum. We share a lot of the trainings between teachers. And so generally our students feel pretty prepared when they go to audition at FWAFA. But as a charter school, we have families that are in all different public areas. So we have a good portion of students that live in Crowley, some in Arlington, some in Fort Worth. And so it really just kind of depends. All right, this is great. Your questions just keep going. Is there recess guaranteed or used as consequences? So we do have recess every single day, even if it's bad weather, because if it's bad weather, we do inside recess. And I feel that recess is really, really important. And there's a lot of studies that show how important it is for students to have that free play during the day and to get that physical exertion out. And so taking away recess is like a very, very, very last resort. We have very few discipline issues here at TeSA. I think I actually wrote my 4th office referral for the entire school year yesterday. So for an entire school year is really not bad. That's impressive for any elementary school. But what I usually choose to do is a lunch detention. And so what that means is, just for example, our young man that made some poor choices this week, instead of sitting with his friends at lunch, had to come have lunch in my office with me. And so he sat at my table in my office and had lunch in here, but he still got to have his recess and play outside. And another question about lunch. Yes, students may bring their own lunch, so they don't have to buy from the cafeteria. That's just a choice. And one more question, can we see previous audition results in the TeSA website? No, we do not share the results of our TeSA auditions. That stays private. I don't even see that. And so that's not something that we can share with you, but you can just see the score sheets and you can see all the rubrics and information of what goes into it, but we don't see the end results. All of that populates into a blind spreadsheet by your student's audition number. And so that way we can make sure there's no bias and that everything is completely as fair as possible. And looks like another question came in. Do you provide busing? No, we do not. At this time, we do not have busing for getting students to school or to home. We do have 2 buses that are owned by our Texas Center for Arts and Academics organization. Those are just used for field trips and for special performances, et cetera. But we don't have a whole fleet of buses that could take our kids back and forth. Okay, it looks like there's a lull in the questions. I'm happy to hang out, so I'm going to just stay on a little bit longer in case some more questions pop up. But if you feel like you've gotten your fill and you know what you need to know, you are welcome to start logging off. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for coming and getting this information, and just a reminder to keep an eye on your emails. And we will keep sending information your way so that you're ready for August. But if you think of questions later, I'm pretty quick on email. You're always welcome to email me, betsy.compton@mytesa.org, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. So thank you for everyone, and I'll stay on and answer more questions, but please feel free to log off if you need to go about your evening.
I do have a question about the lunches. Are we able to buy a plan like for them to eat, or do you have to pay every day?
No, you can buy a plan. We're actually switching systems. The system that we've been using the last couple of years charged a bunch of extra fees, and we're looking for a better system that will be a little more friendly for the users and for the families. But the way it will work is that you will pay online as much money as you want to put in there ahead of time. And then when it gets down, I think when you get less than $5, you get an alert. And then that way, you know, it's time to go put more money in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We can see just only score sheets in TeSA website.
Yes, ma'am. You can just see the blank score sheets and rubrics.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, I see a question about students bringing their own lunch, and yes, they may. They can bring their own lunch.
And then Betsy, did you see the question, are there food allergy disclosures for lunch menu items in advance?
That's a good question. We can ask our nutritionist if we need to do this in a different way, if that would be more helpful in the future, because we're always looking for feedback. But the way we do it now, it's just a month menu at a time. And so it lists every item that's available for each day, but it doesn't give all the individual ingredients. So it might just say like spaghetti, garlic bread, broccoli, and a salad, but it doesn't tell you all the ingredients of those. So if that's a concern, just let me know and we'll see what we can do to help get that information to you. Yes, Ms. Hanson, I will work with our lead nutritionist. She's our child nutrition specialist kitchen manager, I think is her full title. It's a mouthful. And I'll talk to her about that and see what we can do for next year. All right, everyone, I think we've about ran out of questions.
Yep. I think we're good.
Thank you, Ms. Compton, for all you did tonight and for methodically working through all this information. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, Betsy, are you still there? Bye, everyone. Thank you.